Hey everybody, it's Matt here. Happy Thanksgiving. I want to bring you a November 2018 market update. So hope you guys are all ready to have a great Thanksgiving with your families. But let's get this out of the way for the month so you guys know what's happening in the real estate world. I'm going to jump right into it. There's a lot to cover here. I know I get going, so I'm going to try and keep it as brief as I can, but there's a lot I want to update you on. So we've been talking about inventory. Inventory is up another month. Last month, over month, it actually came up for single family homes 12.5%, which makes the sixth consecutive month that inventory has risen here in the Valley. The 12.5% month over month, 44% more inventory year over year. So there's 44% more single family homes on the market today that are available without offers than there were 1 year ago at the same time. That's October 17 to October 18. Furthermore, 5 months in a row, we've seen the median or average list price, both of those actually has declined. Now, that's not the selling price, that's the list price. So what we're seeing is sellers continuing to realize we can't shoot for the moon. We got to get down to where those last comps are. So the list prices keep dropping. Not the sales prices necessarily. What they're selling at has remained pretty steady, but those list prices have to come down to where the market's dictating the values are. So moving on, the first month where we actually saw the median list price year over year go down was this last month. So year over year, the list price actually, both the average and the median, went down 2.8 and then 2.5% month over month. But year over year, October 2017 to October 2018, the median list price went down 1.4%. The average is skewed because you can see some really expensive homes on the market that could skew that, but the median went down 1.4%. It's the first month since I've been tracking this closely, which is a while, that we've seen the list price go down year over year. So, obviously things are slowing down out there. There's no secret about that. We've been talking about inventory and prices and so forth, but you can feel it out there in the marketplace also, and we'll talk about that in a moment. Prices right now, if you look at prices month over month, the median is down 1.7%, but the average is up 2.7% month over month. That's the median sales price for single family closings last month. So overall, pretty steady. If you look at the median, which more people will skew towards that, it's down just a little bit, but the average is up. So maybe a few more expensive homes sold. So overall, pretty flat there, which has been kind of the story for the last few months on prices. Year over year, it's still up 12%. So you'll still see articles and news media putting stuff out there saying, hey, the market's super strong, 12%, appreciation, which is true year over year. And that's fantastic. That's awesome. But the first half of the last 6 months obviously looks a lot different than the 6 months prior to that. April and May closings. I just made a note to talk about this is I have actually seen some comparables recently when I do market analysis for clients. Recently, I've had appointments where I'm sitting with sellers and we're looking at closings from April or May that are frankly higher than we could sell the home for today. Now, hindsight being 2020, we're seeing some closings that timed it just about perfectly for when they hit the market, right before that inventory started to go up. And you'll see an occasional April, May, maybe June closing that just, man, that perfect formula of timing and current competition at the time they hit the market. Maybe they had that swimming pool and it was 100 degrees outside on top of it, so they got a little bit extra premium. But we are seeing some cases like that where a neighbor or two of yours may have done a little bit better during those couple months than we might be able to do today, just keeping it real. And we'll always be real honest with you of what you should expect. You make major life decisions based around the information and advice that I give you, so it's always going to be completely honest with you. So a couple other things I'd like just feel I should mention. I do a lot of reading constantly, economists, forecasts, and these types of things. Two of them recently, Zillow actually put out a report. They have what's called the Home Price Expectations Survey that they put out. They do this quarterly. And they survey real estate brokers and economists with really just their opinions of what they think the market's going to do in the near future with housing specifically. And, it's a big word. I hate to even throw it out there, but the word they used in the article was recession in 2020. From 48% of the surveyors that they spoke with felt that in 2020, at some point in 2020, we would see a recession begin related to housing. Some thought 2019, some thought 2021, but a very, very low percentage thought it would be past 2021 before we saw something like that start to happen. Fannie Mae put out an article actually this morning or yesterday. I read it this morning, but their chief economist was interviewed relating to housing as well. And his main takeaway was affordability constraints. We've talked about that as I update you guys every month. Or if we've just had dialogue at a coffee shop at all lately, you've heard me talk about this. Vegas, we've seen this amazing appreciation in values, 10, 12, 16%, but wage growth has not gone up at the same rate, which, there's an affordability gap there. And as the article explains, with mortgage rates, home prices, limited inventory, which has driven home prices up. And listen, Vegas was way undervalued for a season there. So a lot of that appreciation was recovery and very deserving and warranted. But the concern is these last couple of years has continued to go up at a really high clip. And even though, the labor force has been strong, labor market and strong economy, and those things are great, but the wage growth has not ticked up at the same rate as prices and rates, the formula and combination of those things. So with affordability constraints, this article from Fannie Mae was really pointing to the fact that, around the same time, maybe 2020 or so, there are signs of showing housing, challenges related to affordability. So we have to keep an eye on that. Vegas, we've been talking about it, is an incredible place right now. There's so many amazing things happening here. A lot of different industries are growing. We're seeing a lot of people flock back into Vegas again. It's growing at a really incredible pace again. So a lot of great things happening, but we got to see the wages pick up. Right now, what I'm seeing is a lot of the families I work with, I'm seeing that really kind of $350,000 mark is almost like an unsaid line in the market, where if a home is under 350, the amount of interest and activity that you see and feel on that type of property is different than homes over 350. And I think that's really in line with where a lot of the household incomes are in Vegas, based on the interest rates and all those things. So it does kind of make a lot of sense. Now, there's exceptions to that. If you have an exceptional home above 350, it's still going to be very desirable, because everything's relative to, how much similar competition do you have to your type of property. So, you're in a gated neighborhood, it's a one-story home with a big backyard and a pool. There's always things that could separate you. But those that don't have, that really limited competition are probably going to feel a little bit different than those under 350. So a couple kind of final takeaways on thoughts is, if you're a seller and you're on the fence, call me. We should just sit down and start that conversation. I don't think the sky's falling. I don't want to put fear of loss into anybody's mind. But reality is now might be a really good time to get your home on the market and get it sold, because nobody has a crystal ball of exactly what's happening with home prices. But inventory is expected to probably continue to tick up. And if demand doesn't pick up with it, then of course, that could put some pressure on pricing, interest rates going up and things like that. So, we want to be proactive and get it priced correctly. Buyers, however, also interest rates are a factor too. Interest rates have been climbing. If they continue to climb like many expect, that affects affordability even more so. So let's say, and I'm not saying this at all, I don't think home prices are going to drop 5% next year, but even if they did, and interest rates were a half a point higher, it's about a wash on what you pay for the home. So there's a little bit of cushion there for a home buyer. And here's the thing too, guys, is I really do believe this. But if it's a primary residence, yes, it's an investment. We want to be good stewards and be wise. But trying to time the market on a primary residence, I don't advise that. Buy a home that's yours, that you love for you and your family to build memories in. This is an asset that you're paying down anyways. There are some, tax deductions and benefits. You can do what you want, paint your walls the color you want, put the ceiling fans you want. There's so many advantages to home ownership. Trying to time the market, you're going to wear yourself out. And usually, if you do, you're lucky. And if you miss it, you're in a home you love. So try not to get caught up in those types of thoughts. But that's just my personal opinion. We can always talk about that offline. But anyways, those interest rates for a $75,000 household income in Vegas, you're probably going to qualify for around $290,000 on an FHA mortgage, for example. If rates went up 50 basis points, 0.5% interest rate higher, then you're qualified for about 275 instead of 290. So about $15,000 of buying power, which is about 5.1%, which equates to what I mentioned a moment ago, that even if home prices fell 5% in a year or two or so, but the rates went up, those things about wash out as far as what you qualify for and payments and everything. So, just things to consider. Overall, I think Vegas is an incredible place to be. I think there's a lot of great things happening here, but we're going to probably continue to see some type of balance between where wages are and affordability, related to what we see home prices do. So if you're a seller, let's get it going. Let's get it on the market. Let's price it right, and we will still get the home sold. And if you're a buyer, let's think long term. Think about those interest rates, what that does for your payments, and ultimately focus on finding a home that's great for you and your family, whether that's today or a year from now or 2 years from now. Let's just find a home that's going to be home to build memories in. And I think that's the most important thing to focus on. So if you guys have any questions or thoughts, please ping me, give me a call, email. Love hearing from you guys. Hope you have a really wonderful Thanksgiving with your families, and excited about these next few weeks. Is my favorite time of year. I love Christmas so much. But let's not skip Thanksgiving. I love Thanksgiving too. So you guys have a great time with your families. Sorry for the long update. Just a lot of thoughts to share with you this month. Appreciate every one of you. Thank you so much. See ya.